looking for language to talk about our technology, to understand what's going on in our society, in our globe today, and I was coming up empty. The language was unsatisfying. I didn't feel like any of the vocabulary we have captures what's really happening. And when I started to think about why that was, it's because our technology, what's really driving the change is actually the way we are all connected to each other all of the time, not as institutions, but as individuals, with enormous power at enormous speed everywhere in the world at virtually zero cost. I like to, and so that's why I came up with this term, radical connectivity. We are radically connected to each other all the time. And that is really unprecedented in human history. I like to say, imagine if I was to say to you today, imagine if 35 years from now, you could walk into a little shop anywhere in the world and buy a jumbo jet, a Boeing 747, for $200 and a low monthly metered fee. You would think I was crazy. But that's what's happened with computing. 35 years ago, computers were giant things that filled rooms. They cost millions of dollars. A Cray supercomputer around 1975 cost about $5 million base price, and it would fill a room. And today we walk around with these powerful devices on our person, next to our hearts, all the time, always connected, always on. I called my book The End of Big because I believe technology is pushing power out of institutions to individuals in exciting but also dangerous ways. And across the board, all of our big institutions, big news, big political parties, big government, big militaries, big universities, big companies, big manufacturing, all of them are built on assumptions about power that I'm not sure are true anymore. In my classroom at Harvard, when I'm teaching, I'll say something and my students will take out their phones and Google it to see if it's true. In every way, authority is challenged. People have a lot of power with their phones, with their connectivity, their radical connectivity, and they use it. They use that power. And that creates challenges for any traditional institution, any traditional power. But I probably should have called the book The End of the Old Big, because the reality is that there are 7 big companies that effectively control our online life. You know all of them: Amazon, Apple, eBay, Facebook, Google, Skype, which is Microsoft on Skype, and Twitter. Sometimes I say that never before in the history of the world has so much public space been privately owned. And it's this tension that bothers me, that I worry about, that I think we need a broader conversation about. The institutions of our lives, the courts, the government, the political parties, all of these institutions, they exist for a reason. And maybe they don't do a good job. But simply giving that power to a company like Facebook, I'm not sure that's the right thing to do. There are conditions under which it might be, but we need some discussion, we need some argument, some debate about the role of technology in our lives, in our society, and what this new distribution of power means. In writing the book, it was getting very dark, and I felt like I needed a hopeful way to end, because the progression of the book for me was taking me to a very dark place about the future. And I spent some time really thinking about what, I love our technology. It can't all be bad. It must be taking us somewhere great. And one of my conclusions was that it's taking us where it takes us is up to us. And we have to own that. We have to, as a community, say, this is our power. This is the kind of world we want to live in. This is the kind of world we are going to build. And if we do that, we are powerful beyond measure. You know, Facebook, if 10% of the people stop using Facebook, it'll start to get very fragile. If 20% stop using it, then a lot of the value of it collapses. The power of the platforms, the power of Amazon, Apple, eBay, Facebook, Skype, Google, Twitter, the power of them is you, is me. That's the power of them, not the technology. And if we decide we don't want to live in their world, they will cease to exist almost overnight. Look at AOL, MySpace, BlackBerry. You know, those are three, 10 years ago, those are three of the biggest tech companies on the planet. And so the position of the new big is actually very fragile, and it's built on us, on our power. And if they ignore that, if they abuse that, they'll be wiped out very quickly.